In light of recent events, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of good content when it comes to confidently incorrect. With the world at our hands, you think that people would have a little bit more critical thinking skills, but apparently not.
Well, it's unacceptable to be fat.
For the very first one, we already basically have an ad for women. Men, never date a woman if she is more than 5'4", which is 162 centimeters. It's very short, I think. It's less than a C cup. Weird. Is more than 120 pounds. Has long or heavy periods. Has acne and has a lot of body hair. So it's just human, basically. These are all signs of high testosterone levels in women. You're basically dating a man. If you date a woman like this, she is also most likely either a lesbian or infertile. And if you do manage to have kids with her, she'll pass down these horrible traits to your daughter. That's a horrible thing to say about what I believe is most women would have one, if not few, of these things on this list. Anytime you shrug off anyone who really believes in Andrew Tate and all of these red pill guy content.
It's just not how I am. It's not how I am.
You think that might be a limited mindset?
I think it's none of your business, but I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not. Okay. I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered. You know what I'm saying?
There are serious consequences to believing in such things, and this is one of them. I bet these are the same guys who also complain that there are no good women out there, and all women are trash, or whatever other nonsense they can come up with, honestly. So now a period is masculine. What is even left for women? Do we even exist? I know it says heavy and long, but idiots like this always suggest a period should be like a day or just a dot or something else equally stupid. Dang. I think he thinks the higher level of testosterone makes period heavier. The opposite is typically true, however. What can I say? Clearly he's not a very bright person. He's as bright as a black hole. No, sir, this statement that post-birth abortions are not happening. They are. You're using post-birth to mean the child is fully out the mother's body. Partial birth is actually post-birth. So, can you clarify what the difference in, say, 15 seconds is when it comes to murder? What? What are you talking about? Partial birth is when the baby's halfway out the body, alright? That just makes logical sense to me. No one is out here like aborting in the third term for funsies. Like, I don't know if these people think that women get themselves pregnant because they feel like it for funsies, and then 9 months later they're like, I've had my fun, so I'm gonna abort it now, but I will wait till it comes out the womb post-birth or partial birth and then have them get aborted then. Because people who are pregnant just give birth for funsies. I think after Roe v. Wade got turned over, there's been a lot of conversation about abortion. Not a lot of it is actually correct, especially when it comes to how, why, and what exactly abortion even is. And a perfect example would be, dude, this is a clip from a movie that was used as propaganda. I wouldn't expect you to understand or care about that though. Okay, but that's literally what abortion is. You rip the limbs off the baby and crush the skull because it's easier to pull the baby out in pieces. Number one, it isn't a baby, it's a fetus. Number two, they kill it so it doesn't matter. It's a baby. Actually, they just start ripping off the limbs and they crush the brain last, but go on like you really know. What are you saying? The vast majority of abortions occur during the first trimester of a pregnancy. 93% occur before 13 weeks. I think that whenever people think about abortion, they think of a full-size baby just getting ripped out of a woman's uterus, which is ridiculous. And oftentimes they're still very small, like a size of a lime, or even a size of a rice grain, depending on how early they perform said abortion. Say that abortion as a whole is something like that is kind of ridiculous. And because a lot of people also just pop a pill and then after a day or two of intense cramping and stomach aches, yeah, and that's it. There's no need to crush skulls and stuff, even though that process in and of itself is already very traumatic and painful. It's a process that I myself have witnessed from other people in my life that have gotten an abortion. Is extremely traumatic, and it's not that they're for funsies popping pills like it's a paracetamol. That's kind of wild. And not to mention, the entire topic of abortion also has to do with women to be able to make that decision themselves. It's an important point to bring up since it's their life, and having a child highly influences your life and the decisions that you make. And to say that you're not ready or you need to be in a place where you can give this child the best possible chance is not a bad thing. And also, you can describe a plethora of life-saving surgeries in a very graphic and horrible way and advocate to ban them as well, but no one actually do it because it's ridiculous. Open heart surgery, you have to cut your chest open, get to the heart. It's entirely gruesome as well. Knee surgeries, you've seen videos of doctors banging on there. It looks gruesome as heck. It's part of healthcare. The point is that the doctors and the women make an informed decision about that route that they're going to go down on. If the best route is abortion, then so be it. And to have this life-saving form of healthcare be starting to get banned in many places, especially in the US, it's very dangerous, and you're putting a whole half the population in danger. You don't give a shit about the person who's giving birth. It's wild. And of course, mental health misinformation is also rampant. I stand by my statement on autism being a fake disability. Unless you have Rain Man autism, you aren't disabled. Down syndrome is a real disability. Tourette's is a real disability. Cerebral palsy is a real disability. Autism, dyslexia, and ADHD are like the type 2 diabetes of mental disorders. You can remove the negatives of them with changes in behavior. You cannot do that with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, or Tourette's. Quite honestly, I'm tired of everyone on the internet diagnosing themselves with crippling incurable autism simply because they're a little lacking in social skills and because they have social anxiety. Get over it. Most of you will be cured with a little meditation and 6 months of leaving your house 1 to 2 times a week. I had a family member who would constantly blame other people for her problems and say she couldn't get ahead in life because she had crippling ADHD. To which I would say, you don't have ADHD, you're just crazy. Okay, let's break this down. So Rain Man autism is basically savant syndrome. It's when an autistic person has an extraordinary skill at one specific domain. It could be anything. You can kind of see this in like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory as well, as an example. That's kind of crazy because so unless you excel really well at your disability, it's not considered a disability. But things such as Tourette's, Down syndrome, and cerebral palsy, which I think is a very optical kind of disability. You physically see them suffering from something or going through something. So you kind of see that as carrying a heavier weight than autism, dyslexia, and ADHD, which you don't typically see on first hand. When you walk down the street, you don't see that someone has ADHD or dyslexia. It's kind of through conversation or they tell you, versus if you walk down the street, you can see someone who have Down syndrome. Kind of makes this a very prejudiced statement, I think. Type 2 diabetes of mental disorders is kind of funny, but also just because you don't see it doesn't mean someone else is not going through something. People love to sound sophisticated and brag about European art and architecture. I've seen America's and I've seen what they've got. Theirs can't touch ours. I don't know if it's universally known that France gave New York this Statue of Liberty. So that is technically European architecture, but you know, you do you. You can get a lot of weird feelings when you need sleep. It could be that you're halfway there and your brainstem has started a process of detaching from your spine, and it feels weird because you're not actually asleep yet. Your brainstem is what now? Yeah, your brainstem detaches from your spine so you don't act out of your dreams during sleep. It's what causes sleep paralysis. Need not be concerned. No spine and brainstem has detach during sleep. Otherwise, you'd also kind of be paralyzed and or dead. So I don't know how people derive this information, from where, from how, I have no idea. Yeah, I think that's enough for today. I'm sure more will come up. Till then, bye.
If a woman is in a situation where she's getting the shit beat out of her by her husband and like he might kill her, yeah, she should leave the marriage, in my opinion.
But statistically, like, that's not what it is. It's kind of like with the abortion anomaly. That's not like the majority of abortions. So let's like talk about what actually happens. And what actually happens when people are getting divorced, like literally initiated, you'll probably know the stat, between 2/3 and 80% of the time by women. And the plurality of that reason is they feel unfulfilled. They want a new chapter in their life. It's like the eat, pray, love phenomenon. That should be outlawed. You legally actually should not be able to do that.